So I forgot to film an intro for this reading vlog, and I didn't want to throw you into it so suddenly, so I'm just making one now. So this past weekend, I spent time just catching up on some reading and finishing books that I wanted to finish but didn't get a chance to. I always have this immense amount of guilt when I don't finish a book, especially when I have the physical copy. So I have no problem not finishing like ebooks, but physical copies, I feel like I have to, because most of the time the ebooks I read are on Kindle Unlimited, so I don't feel that guilty because it's like free book, but not really. Anyway, but the physical copies, it's like I really bought this book and I really want to finish it. So it takes a lot for me to actually not finish a book. Like it really has to be so insufferable, so bad. Like I am incapable of finishing it. And there are only really a handful of books, maybe even less, that I have not finished. Anyway, the books that I'm reading in this vlog is Be Still My Heart by Emily McIntyre and Sav Miller, and also Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. Oh, and I also read A Little Too Close by Rebecca Yarros, but I didn't film that one, but I still do want to talk about it. So if you want to hear my thoughts on these books that I'm reading, just stay till the end, and I hope you enjoy this video. I've got maybe like just a little bit over 100 pages left, and I'm really trying to get through this book. Rude. I'm really trying to get through this book, but it's like, it's so hard. A lot of the stuff in here is so cringe, but I just feel like an immense amount of guilt when I don't finish a book. And so I gotta finish it. I actually can't. The amount of cringe on this page makes me want to rip my eyes out. I actually might not. I was saying that I might not finish this book. I don't think I can. But I've literally read so much already. God. So I am finally done with Be Still My Heart, and I've got quite a bit to say on that, but I'm gonna save my thoughts for later in this video, along with my thoughts on the other books that I'm reading for this video. Right now, I'm going to move on to Binding 13. So I'm thinking of calling it a night. I've read about over 100 pages now, and I'm almost halfway. And I'm just probably gonna continue reading tomorrow. But I have no idea if I'm gonna finish this book in this video. But we'll just see. I'll just do the best I can. Okay, so my thoughts. Let's start with Be Still My Heart. So Be Still My Heart is set in a small town called Skelm Island, and this is a grumpy, broody man called Lincoln who owns a lobstering business. And he would go out every morning to, catch some lobsters, make a living. And this one morning, he goes out and instead of catching a lobster, he catches a dead body. And that's when this whole thing spreads around the town that there's this dead body, did he do it, did he not? And that's when Detective Sloan comes in to assist with the case. So Detective Sloan and Lincoln have to work together to solve this case, and they start getting to know each other while doing so, and that's when their romance kind of comes in. Now, I did not care about their romance. They had, in my opinion, they had no chemistry, and I cared more about their backstories than whatever was going on between them. It wasn't as suspenseful or thrilling as I thought it would be. I thought this book had a lot of potential to be a 5-star read, maybe even a 4.5. I had a lot of expectations, to be honest. I saw it a lot on my Instagram, and then I went and read what the book was about, and I was like, okay, this is so up my alley, so definitely gonna buy it. I did not even read the reviews because I honestly thought I was gonna like it. But unfortunately, I didn't. And don't even get me started on the smut in this book. The dialogue that happens in those scenes is so cringe. It is so cringe. I felt like I couldn't, I was this close to not finishing this book because of the dialogue in those scenes. And it's such a shame because I feel like the book was at a 3.5 out of 5, but now because of all those scenes, I just put it on a 2.5, and it's because of the dialogue. The dialogue, I couldn't get through it. I actually couldn't get through it. It wasn't for me at all. It reminded me of the book I read. What was it? The American Roommate Experience. The American Roommate Experiment, that one. It reminded me of that book. That was the first book I didn't finish, and it was because of how cringe the smut scenes were. I just couldn't get past it. I was like, right, I'm not doing this to myself. I'm just not finishing it. And with this book, I was this close. I was this close because they are the same level of cringe. I think the plot is really predictable, and yeah, I think because of how predictable it is, it made the story fall flat and just not as exciting as I really thought it would be. So I'm really disappointed that I didn't end up liking this book, and I think I'll give it a 2.5. So yeah, but yeah, 2.5 wasn't my cup of tea. I think there's only been one other suspenseful romance I read, which was Verity by Colleen Hoover. And that one did a very good job at keeping my interest. It was a real page turner, devoured that within a day. Some really weird stuff happened in that book, but best believe I was wanting more. I just kept reading and reading, and this one I couldn't. It was just boring. I think that's what I have to say about Be Still My Heart. It's got a predictable plot. It even like the little plot twist they tried to insert, I was like, okay. Like, I was like, okay. I didn't know what else to like think of it. Yeah. And yeah, you can see things coming like from a mile away in this book. But anyway, moving on. Binding 13. I haven't finished this book yet. As you can tell, like I still need to read a lot more. I'm not even halfway. And I did want to read more today, but then I just like didn't find the time to do that. So we have Shannon, who got severely bullied at her old school, and I think because of how small and thin she is, she was like a very easy target. So she decides to switch schools, and she ends up going to a private school where she knows like a little bit more people. Her old friends are there, so she feels like a little bit more comfortable there. So there was an incident that happened where I think she forgot something on the other side of the school. So once she gets whatever she was looking for, she decides to go back to class, but I think she was really late, so she tries to take a shortcut. She ends up trying to cross the field where the rugby boys were practicing. And as she's crossing the field, Mr. Rising rugby star Johnny Kavanagh kicks the ball and it ends up hitting her. So this is the part where I'm not entirely sure what happened. I don't know if she got knocked out or she just had like a concussion or something, but one of them. And in that process, she ends up exposing her underwear, and all the boys start like teasing her or laughing and stuff. Now cut to the principal's office where Johnny and Shannon are there. While they're waiting on the principal, they start to like get to know little bits of each other, and I think that's when some sort of friendship or spark just emerges. So without giving too much away about the story, things start happening from there. So far this book, I have no problem with the writing at all. It's more so like the storyline. I haven't gotten far enough, but I thought some parts are interesting, some parts are not. It's also another book where I don't really care that much about the romance or love between the two main characters. I care more about their backstories. I think their backstories are quite nice to read. And I really love the relationship that Shannon has with her brother. I think that is such a precious and heartfelt kind of relationship, because he is so protective of her, and she just trusts him so much. I just love seeing that like bond that they have. But maybe I have to keep reading more. It's just that, again, a lot of high expectations for this book, because people are saying it's such a heartfelt, like emotional kind of book, and it's got really high ratings on like Amazon and Goodreads. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give it a go then, but maybe I just need to keep reading. I mean, I gotta keep reading because I bought the second book. That's how much trust I had in this. I bought, what was it? Binding 13 and Keeping 13. So I bought like the second book in the series. I'm just gonna keep going. And hopefully it is the 5-star read that everyone is saying it is. So yeah. Moving on to A Little Too Close by Rebecca Yarros. I read this book on Kindle Unlimited and I did not finish it. And I will not finish it. Just because I don't want to. It is like nothing special about it. And as I said, like, I don't have a problem finishing books that I read on Kindle Unlimited at all, because technically I didn't buy it. Like, I am just borrowing it, right? So I have no problem like not finishing that book. You know, I've read quite a few of Rebecca Yarros's books now, and I think I've read 3 and this was my 4th. She is the queen of slow burns, and I have always enjoyed that build up towards the characters finally getting together. I just think she does it so well, and it doesn't fall flat anywhere. It doesn't get boring. So I think I was a little taken aback when this book, the characters got together within like the 6th or 7th chapter. And I was like, oh, now what? Like, if they already got together, now what? Like, I don't mind books where like the characters get together like quicker than I expect, but I think because it's Rebecca Yarros and all the books I've read so far have been slow burns, I was definitely taken aback by this one. I was like, where is the story going then if there's no build up? I didn't know where it was going. I still don't know because I didn't finish it. And I won't. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next.